Captain Doyon Kim stood at the viewing window of the medical ship Hope Undying. His hands shook as he watched the planet below burn. New Harmony, once a thriving colony world with blue oceans and green lands, now glowed red with fire. The Void Razor. Attack ships moved like dark shadows against the burning world. "Captain, you need to see this," said Dr. Miju Park. Her voice was steady, but Doyon could see the fear in her eyes. Miju had been his friend since medical school. They had seen many terrible things together, but nothing like this. Doyon followed her to the command center. The room was filled with the soft beeping of machines and the worried voices of the medical team. On the main screen, a map showed the colony's underground bunkers. Small green dots blinked, showing life signs. "People are still alive down there," Doyon said, hope rising in his chest. Commander Tejo nodded. "Yes, but not for long. The Void Razors always come back to finish what they start. They call it sterilization." His face was grim. "We need to leave this system now." Doyon looked at the screen again. Those green dots were people, maybe hundreds of them. They had come to New Harmony to help with a strange sickness. Now they were watching a massacre. "We can't leave them," Doyon said. "We're doctors. We save lives." "We're also the only medical ship in this sector," Commander Tejo reminded him. "If we die here, how many more will die without our help?" Miju stepped forward. "The Void Razors are hunting in the northern regions. Their ships can't fly well in radiation storms." She pointed to the weather data. "There's a big storm coming. Over the southern continent in 3 hours. We could land then, get some survivors, and be gone before they notice." Hannah Lee, the ship's xenopsychologist, joined them. Her job was to understand how different aliens thought and felt. "The survivors will be traumatized. They'll need more than medical help." "We don't have room for everyone," Commander Tejo said. "Then, we take who we can," Doyon insisted. "The sickest, the most injured, those who won't survive without our help." The commander looked at each of them. These were not soldiers. They were healers, the best in human space. Captain Doyon Kim could fix bodies that seemed beyond saving. Dr. Miju Park had created new ways to help bodies heal themselves. Hannah Lee could heal minds broken by terrible trauma. 3 hours, Commander Tejo finally said. "Get your teams ready." The small medical shuttle shook as it entered New Harmony's atmosphere. The planet's defense systems were destroyed, but the radiation storm threw the shuttle around like a toy. Doyon gripped his seat and tried not to think about what would happen if they crashed. "Radiation levels rising," the pilot announced. "The storm is giving us good cover, but it's also making it hard to find a landing spot." "There." Miju pointed to a clear area near the ruins of the colony's main hospital. "The bunker entrance should be intact." They landed with a hard bump. Outside the shuttle windows, the world was gray with ash and storm clouds. The rain that fell was black with smoke. Doyon led the team out. Each person carried medical supplies and wore protection suits. The air was hot and thick with the smell of burning. "The entrance should be 200 meters that way," Hannah said, checking her map. "Under the hospital's east wing." They moved quickly, staying low. The broken buildings around them still smoked. Bodies lay in the streets, but they couldn't stop to check them. There was no time. "Look," Miju whispered, pointing up. High above, through breaks in the storm clouds, they could see the dark shapes of Void Razor ships. They looked like giant insects made of black metal, with legs that ended in weapons. The ships moved slowly, searching. "They're looking for survivors," Doyon said. "Come on." They found the bunker entrance half buried under fallen concrete. It took all of them working together to move enough debris to reach the door. Hannah found the emergency controls, and the heavy metal door slowly opened. The smell hit them first, the smell of too many people in a small space, of fear and sickness, and wounds gone bad. Then came the sound, moaning, crying, voices speaking in different languages. Inside, the bunker was lit by emergency lights. It was designed to hold maybe 50 people in an emergency. Now it held over 100, crammed together in the main room and hallways. Doyen saw at least 6 different alien species mixed with human colonists. Some he recognized: the tall, thin Alani with their 4 arms, the short, sturdy Brocs with their stone-like skin. Others he had only read about in medical texts. A human woman stepped forward. Her arm was in a rough sling, and dried blood covered half her face. Are you really rescuers?" Her voice was rough from the smoke. "We're doctors," Doyen said. "From the medical ship Hope Undying. We've come to help as many as we can." The woman started to cry. "The Void Raisers came without warning. They said our world was contaminated, that we were a threat to the galaxy." An Alani male stepped forward. 2 of his 4 arms were badly burned. "They hunt us across the stars. My world burned first, then many others. Those of us who escaped came here thinking we were far enough away." "How many are injured?" Miju asked, already opening her medical kit. "Almost everyone," the woman said. "The worst cases are in the back rooms. We've done what we can, but—" Hana touched Doyen's arm. "Captain, we have less than 2 hours before the storm passes." Doyen nodded. "We need to work fast. Miju, start triage. Hana, help her identify the different species needs." He turned to the survivors. "We have a small ship. We can't take everyone, but we promise we will come back for the rest of you." "You don't understand," the Alani said. "The Void Raisers always come back. They burn worlds completely. No one will survive here." Doyen met the alien's 4 eyes. "Then we take who we can now and figure out a way to save the rest." As they moved deeper into the bunker, Doyen saw the true scale of the horror. Burn victims, crushed limbs, radiation sickness, and those were just the physical wounds. The fear and loss in every face told of deeper injuries. A small hand grabbed his. It was a child, not human, but a species Doyen had never seen before. The child's skin shimmered like mother of pearl, and its eyes were large and black. "Can you help my mother?" the child asked in a voice like wind chimes. "She won't wake up." Doyen knelt beside the child. "Show me." As the storm raged outside and Void Raiser ships hunted overhead, Doyen followed the child into the darkness of the bunker, holding tight to the oath he had taken as a doctor: to heal, to help, to give hope, even at the end of the world. The back rooms of the bunker were worse than Doyen had imagined. People lay on every surface. The floor, makeshift beds, even leaning against walls. The air was heavy with the smell of blood and burned flesh. Miju was already working, her hands moving quickly as she examined a tall insect-like being. 2 of its 6 limbs were missing, the wounds covered with what looked like paste made from local plants. "This is Thrix," said the human woman who had first greeted them. Her name was Jin. "He saved 20 children during the first attack. Carried them to safety even after he was hurt." Thrix's large compound eyes fixed on Doyen. "You should help." "The others first," he clicked in a voice that sounded like tapping on glass. "The young ones need care more than I do." "We'll help everyone we can," Doyen promised. He turned to Jin. "How many people are here in total?" 53 survivors, Jin said, "from 8 different species. Most of us were researchers at the colony's science center. The rest are locals who made it to the bunker in time." Hana was kneeling beside a strange creature that looked like a pile of glowing crystals. Parts of it were cracked and dark. "This is Valine," Hana explained. "Their species stores memories in their crystalline structure. Valine might be the last one with complete knowledge of their homeworld." "Can we move them?" Doyen asked. Hana frowned. "I'm not sure. Their structure is highly unstable right now." Miju joined them, wiping blood from her hands. "Captain, most of these people have injuries that require immediate treatment. I've given emergency care where I can, but they need the medical facilities on the ship." "And the radiation levels are rising," added one of the medical team members. "The storm is helping hide us, but it's also bringing down more radiation from the damaged power plants." Doyen made a quick decision. "We start moving people now, the most critically injured first." As they began preparing survivors for transport, Doyen noticed something strange. Many of the aliens were staying away from each other, forming small groups by species. They don't trust each other, Jin explained when he asked. Before the Void Raisers, some of these species were enemies. The Brox and Alani fought wars over trade routes. The Luminar and Vex can't even breathe the same air mixtures without getting sick. But they're all here together, Doyen said. When your enemy burns your world, old fights seem small, Jin said simply. A young Brox approached Doyen. Its stone-like skin was cracked in several places, showing soft tissue underneath. The humans working with the Deathbringers, it said in a rumbling voice. We heard stories. Doyen knelt to look the Brox in the eye. What stories? That humans made deals with the Void Raisers. Safe passage, protection, that you point them to. Worlds to burn. That's not true, Doyen said firmly. We're here to help. The Brox stared at him for a long moment. We will see. As they loaded the first group of survivors onto stretchers, alarms began to sound from their equipment. Movement in orbit, reported one of the team. The Void Raiser ships are changing position. Have they spotted us? Doyen asked. I don't think so. They seem to be regrouping for another attack run, but they'll be over this area in less than an hour. Doyen looked at the rooms still full of injured people. We need to work faster. Back on the shuttle, Miju was using her experimental regeneration technology on Thrix. The insectoid lay on a medical table, his compound eyes watching as she prepared the treatment. This will help your body start growing new limbs, she explained. It works by telling your cells to remember their original shape. Like remembering what it felt like to be whole, Thrix clicked. Exactly, Miju smiled. Human bodies naturally try to heal themselves. My technology just helps that process work better. Will it work on me? I am not human. That's the amazing thing, Miju said. The basic principles work on most living things. We just need to adjust it for each species. On another table, Hana was carefully treating the crystalline being, Valine. She had created a special solution that was helping to stabilize their cracked surfaces. Your world. Valine's voice came from somewhere inside the glowing crystals. Has it also been burned? No, Hana said. Earth is safe, as far as we know. Then, why do you risk yourselves for strangers? For beings not like you? Hana thought for a moment. Because that's what doctors do. We help those who need help, no matter who they are. The crystals pulsed with soft light. A strange idea, but good. Doyen was checking on a young Alani whose forearms were wrapped in regenerative bandages. How does it feel? Is the pain less? Yes, the Alani said with surprise. How is this possible? Our medical science could not help burns like these. Human medicine developed differently, Doyen explained. We had to treat many different injuries and illnesses throughout our history. We learned to adapt, to find creative solutions. The Void Raisers say adaptation is dangerous, the Alani said quietly, that it leads to contamination. I think adaptation is how we survive, Doyen replied. The shuttle pilot called from the front. Captain, we've got a problem. The storm is getting worse and the Void Raiser ships are moving into the southern quadrant earlier than expected. Doyen checked the time. They had only brought up 20 of the 53 survivors. More than half were still in the bunker. We need to go back down, he said. If we do, we might not make it out at all, the pilot warned. Doyen looked at the survivors they had already rescued. If they left now, these people would be safe. If they went back, everyone might die. I'll go alone, he decided. The rest of you get these survivors to the ship. No, Miju said firmly. We go together or not at all. Before they could argue further, the shuttle's communication system crackled to life. Medical shuttle, this is Commander Taiho. Return to the ship immediately. Void Raiser attack craft have changed course. They're heading directly for your position. But there are still survivors down there, Doyen protested. If you don't leave now, there won't be any survivors at all. Taiho's voice was firm. That's an order, Captain. As the shuttle lifted off, Doyen watched the bunker entrance grow smaller. Below them, he had promised they would come back. He had promised they would save everyone. We'll find another way. Miju said, seeing his face. There has to be another way. The shuttle shook as it climbed through the storm. Through the clouds, they could see the dark shapes of Voidraiser ships descending toward the surface. In the medical bay, surrounded by the injured aliens they had managed to save, Doyen made a silent promise. He would not let the others die. Somehow he would find a way to return. As if in answer to his thoughts, Valine's crystals began to glow brighter. The Voidraisers have a pattern, came the strange voice. They are not just destroying. They are searching. Searching for what? Hana asked. I do not know, Valine replied. But if we understand their pattern, perhaps we can stop them. For the first time since watching New Harmony burn, Doyen felt a small spark of hope. The medical ship Hope Undying hung in space at the edge of the New Harmony system. From this distance, the burning planet looked like a small red marble. Doyen stood in the command center, facing Commander Taiho and the other officers. We left. More than 30 people down there, Doyen said, his voice tight with anger. We promised we would go back for them. And we will die if we try, Taiho said firmly. The Voidraisers have the planet surrounded. They're systematically burning everything. The screen showed the Voidraiser ships moving in precise patterns across the planet. Where they passed, the land turned black and dead. There must be something we can do, Miju insisted. She had been working nonstop in the medical bay, treating the 20 survivors they had managed to rescue. Our ship is not designed for combat, Taiho reminded them. We are healers, not warriors. Hana, who had been quiet until now, stepped forward. Maybe we don't need to fight, maybe we need to hide. Everyone turned to look at her. What do you mean? Doyen asked. Valine told me something important, Hana explained. The Voidraisers aren't just killing randomly. They're looking for specific biological patterns. They can detect these patterns with their scanners. So if we could hide these patterns, Miju said slowly, understanding dawning on her face. Might be able to get past their ships, Hana finished. Doyun turned to Miju. Your regeneration nanites. Could they be modified to change biological signatures temporarily? Miju thought for a moment. Maybe. They're designed to help cells remember their original pattern. But we could reverse that, make them mask the normal patterns instead. It's too dangerous, Taiho warned. If it doesn't work, we lose everything. And if we do nothing, those people down there definitely die, Doyen countered. After a long silence, Taiho nodded. You have 12 hours to develop this masking technology. If it works, we'll attempt one more rescue mission. In the medical lab, Miju worked frantically, testing different nanite configurations. Doyun helped, applying his knowledge of xenobiology to adapt the technology for each alien species. It's working for the human tissues, Miju said, looking at the test results, and the Alani samples. But Thrix's biology is too different. The nanites can't properly mask his insect DNA. Keep trying, Doyen encouraged. We just need to find the right configuration. In another part of the lab, Hana was working with the survivors they had already rescued. Many were still recovering from their injuries, but they wanted to help. The Alani shared knowledge of Voidraiser ship movements they had observed. The Brocs, with their deep understanding of minerals, helped stabilize Valine's crystalline form. For so long our species avoided each other, Valine's voice whispered as Hana carefully applied a new stabilizing solution. We saw our differences as threats. Differences can be strengths when we work together, Hana said. Yes, I understand that now. Valine's crystals pulsed with soft light. The Voidraisers fear difference. They believe certain combinations of biology create resonance patterns that attract something worse from deep space. What do you mean? Hana asked. They believe they are protecting the galaxy by eliminating these patterns. But what if they are wrong? Before Hana could ask more, alarms sounded throughout the ship. Everyone rushed to the command center. Voidraiser, scout ships, Taiho announced grimly. They've detected us. On the screen, 3 small Voidraiser ships were moving toward their position. How long until they reach us? Doyen asked. 20 minutes at most, replied the navigation officer. We can try to outrun them, but our engines aren't built for speed. Doyen looked at Miju. Is the nanite mask ready? It works for humans and most of the alien species, but not for all. Thrix's biology is still rejecting it. Doyen faced a terrible choice. They could try to save the people left on the planet, but without a working mask for all species, they might be detected, or they could flee, saving the 20 they had already rescued but abandoning the others. We need more time, Miju pleaded. Thrix, who had been standing quietly in the doorway, stepped forward. His new limbs were still growing, thin and fragile, compared to his original ones, but he could walk. I will go with you, he clicked, without the mask. That's too dangerous, Doyen said. The Void Razors will detect you immediately. Yes, Thrix agreed, and I will lead them away from the others. The room fell silent. Everyone understood what Thrix was offering. No, Doyen said firmly. We don't sacrifice people. That's not how we work. It is my choice, Thrix replied simply. On my world, before it burned, I was a protector of young ones. It was my purpose. Let me have a purpose again. Before anyone could argue further, the ship shuddered. The Void Razor scouts had fired a warning shot. We're out of time, Taiho said. Make your decision, Captain. Doyen looked at each face in the room, human and alien alike. They had all lost. So much already. Could he ask them to risk everything? We go back, he decided. We try to save as many as we can, but no one sacrifices themselves. Miju touched his arm. I may have another idea. We can't mask Thrix's biology completely, but what if we don't need to? What if we just need to confuse their scanners long enough to get in and out? How? Doyen asked. A decoy, she explained quickly. We program some nanites to mimic Thrix's biological signature, place them in small drones, and scatter them across the planet. The Void Razors will detect multiple signals and won't know which is real. Will that work? Taiho asked. I don't know, Miju admitted, but it's better than sacrifice. They worked quickly, preparing the nanite decoys and a small rescue team. The Hope Undying would create a distraction in orbit while Doyen, Miju, Hana, and 3 others took a shuttle to the surface. As they prepared to launch, Thrix approached Doyen one more time. If this fails, he clicked softly, know that your people have already saved us. How? Doyen asked, confused. Before your medicine, I had lost hope. Now I have new limbs growing. Even if I die tomorrow, today I am healing. That is a gift beyond measure. Doyen felt his throat tighten with emotion. We're going to save everyone, he promised. That's what human doctors do. The shuttle bay doors opened, showing the darkness of space and the red glow of the burning planet below. The Void Razor scouts were closing in, their weapons ready. Launch the decoys, Doyen ordered. Dozens of tiny drones shot out from the ship, each carrying nanites programmed with Thrix's biological signature. They scattered in all directions, creating a confusing pattern of signals. As the Void Razor ships changed course to investigate the sudden appearance of multiple targets, the medical shuttle slipped away, heading toward the surface of New Harmony and the survivors waiting below. The shuttle landed in a different location this time, far from the original bunker. The sky was dark with smoke and ash, and the ground was hot under their feet as they stepped out. The bunker entrance should be 2 kilometers east, Doyen said, checking his scanner. We need to move quickly. The decoys won't distract the Void Razors forever. The small team made their way through the ruins of what had once been a beautiful forest. Now only blackened tree trunks remained, still smoking. From the fires, the air was hard to breathe even with their masks. Life signs ahead, Miju reported, looking at her scanner. Lots of them. The bunker is still intact. They found the entrance half hidden under fallen trees. As Doyen worked to open it, a loud boom shook the ground. Looking up, they saw explosions in the sky. The Hope Undying is engaging the Void Razor. Scouts, Hana said worriedly. Commander Taiho is buying us time. The bunker door finally opened. Inside, the survivors looked worse than before. Without proper medical care, many of their conditions had worsened. But they were alive. You came back, Jin said, her eyes wide with disbelief. We thought, when we saw the Void Razor ships, we promised we would, Doyen replied simply. Now we need to get everyone out quickly. Can you walk? Jin nodded. Most of us can, but not everyone. They began organizing the evacuation, applying the nanite masks to each survivor before they left the bunker. The masks would hide their biological signatures from Void Razor scanners, but only for a few hours. As they worked, the ground shook again. This time it was not from explosions in the sky, but from something much closer. Void Razor ground troops, one of the Alani refugees said fearfully. They're landing. How much time do we have? Doyun asked. Minutes, maybe less. Doyun made a quick decision. Miju, take the first group to the shuttle. Hana and I will bring the rest as soon as possible. Miju hesitated, not wanting to leave them, but then nodded. Be careful. As Miju led a group of 15 survivors toward the shuttle, Doyen and Hana worked to prepare the remaining 18. Many had serious injuries that made moving difficult. Almost done, Hana said, applying the nanite mask to a young Brock's child. A terrible screeching sound came from outside. Through the bunker's small window they could see a Void Razor landing craft touching down less than a kilometer away. Its doors opened and tall, insect-like figures emerged. Void Razors, whispered Jin. I've never seen them up close before. The Void Razors were taller than humans, with hard exoskeletons and multiple limbs ending in what looked like both tools and weapons. Their heads had large compound eyes that glowed red in the dim light. We need to move now, Doyen said urgently. Even with the masks, they'll find us if they come this way. They began helping the remaining survivors toward the exit when the communication device on Doyen's belt crackled to life. Captain, we have a problem. Miju's voice came through, tight with fear. Void Razors have found the shuttle. We're pinned. Down can't reach you. Doyen's heart sank. Without the shuttle, they were trapped. The Hope Undying couldn't land on the planet. It was too large and not designed for planetary landings. We need a new plan, Hana said, her voice steady despite the danger. Before they could think of one, the bunker door burst open. But instead of Void Razors, it was one of the human medical team members who had gone with Miju. This way, he gasped, out of breath from running. We found another way. They followed him through the burning landscape, helping the injured survivors move as quickly as possible. In the distance, they could see Void Razors moving methodically through the ruins, scanning everything. The medical team member led them to what looked like an abandoned mining site. Hidden among the equipment was a small cargo ship, old and battered, but intact. Jin found it, he explained. It was covered by debris. The colonists used it for moving ore. It might still work. Can you fly it? Doyen asked. I can try. It's not much different from our shuttle. Hana was already helping survivors into the cargo hold. What about Miju and the others? They're hiding near the shuttle, the team member explained. The Void Razors are still searching the area but haven't found them yet. If we can create a distraction, they might be able to reach us. Doyen looked at the group of survivors. Most were too weak to go back. But he couldn't leave Miju and the others behind. I'll go, he decided. The rest of you get this ship working. I'm coming too, Jin said. I know this area better than you do. Before Doyen could argue, a new voice spoke from the cargo ship's doorway. No need. We're here. It was Miju, helping a limping Alani. Behind her, the rest of her group emerged from the trees. How did you escape? Doyen asked, relief washing over him. Thrix, Miju said simply. He led the Void Razors away from us. Used himself as bait. Is he? He's alive, Miju assured him. But we got separated. He said he would find his own way to the ship. They worked quickly to get everyone aboard, the cargo ship, and to make it flight ready. The engines were old but still functional. As they prepared for takeoff, the communication system suddenly came to life. Medical team, this is Commander Tejo. The Hope Undying has been damaged. We've had to retreat to the outer system. Can you read me? We read you, Commander, Doyen responded. We found all the survivors and an old cargo ship. We're preparing to launch. The Void Razors are moving to surround your position, Taiho warned. And there's something else. We've intercepted their communications. They're not just destroying the planet, they're looking for someone specific. Who? Doyen asked. We don't know. But whatever you do, don't let them capture any of you. We've seen what happens to those they take alive. As if on cue, they heard the sound of Void Razor ships approaching. We need to leave now, the pilot said urgently. But Thrix isn't back yet, Miju protested. We can't wait, Jin said sadly. If we stay, we all die. Doyen made the hardest decision of his life. Launch the ship. As the cargo ship's engines roared to life, Hana looked out the window and gasped. Look. Running toward them was Thrix, moving faster than seemed possible on his still healing limbs. Behind him, a group of Void Razors followed, firing weapons that left smoking holes in the ground. Open the cargo door, Doyen ordered. We're going to get him. The cargo door lowered as the ship began to lift off. Thrix reached it just as it cleared the ground, leaping with incredible strength to catch the edge. Doyun and Miju pulled him inside just as a Void Razor weapon blast hit the door, leaving a smoking hole in the metal. Close it! Go! Doyun shouted. The ship lurched upward, engine straining under the load. Through the closing door they could see the Void Razors watching them, their red eyes glowing with what might have been rage or something else entirely. One of the Void Razors stepped forward, looking directly at them. Unlike the others, this one's exoskeleton was marked with strange symbols. It raised one of its limbs, pointing at the ship, then made a cutting motion across its neck area. What was that? Jin asked, her voice shaking. A promise, Thrix clicked softly. They will hunt us across the stars. The cargo ship broke through the atmosphere, shaking violently as it did. In the distance, they could see Void Razor ships turning to pursue them. We'll never outrun them, the pilot said grimly. But before the Void Razor ships could reach them, the Hope Undying appeared, positioning itself between the cargo ship and the pursuers. Get to these coordinates. Taiho's voice came over the communication system. We'll cover your escape. As they watched, the medical ship fired defensive weapons at the Void Razor ships, not trying to destroy them but creating a barrier of energy, discharges that confused their sensors. A medical ship protecting us with healing technology, Miju said with a small smile. How fitting. Together, the two ships fled the New Harmony system, carrying the last survivors of yet another world. The Void Razors had burned. 2 weeks had passed since their escape from New Harmony. The Hope Undying and the cargo ship had found refuge in an asteroid field at the edge of a small, uninhabited star system. Here, they worked to repair their ships and heal their wounded. The cargo hold of the old mining ship had been transformed into a makeshift medical bay. Doyen moved among the patients, checking their progress. Many of the survivors were healing well thanks to Miju's regeneration technology. Thrix's new limbs were almost fully grown, and the young Brox's stone-like skin had sealed over its cracks. Your medicine is remarkable, Jin said as Doyen checked her arm, which was now almost fully healed. On my world, an injury like this would have left me crippled. Human medicine developed differently from most species, Doyen explained. We had to adapt to many challenges throughout our history. The Void Razors would call that contamination, Jin said softly. They believe purity is the only safe path. In another part of the ship, Hana was working with Valine. The crystalline being was slowly rebuilding their damaged structure, glowing brighter each day. I have been studying the Void Razor communication patterns, Valine's voice echoed from within the crystals. There is something important we have missed. What is it? Hana asked. The Void Razors are dying, Valine said. Their entire species is slowly being consumed by a degenerative condition. That is why they hunt us so desperately. Hana frowned. I don't understand. How does destroying other worlds help them? They believe the condition comes from biological contamination, from contact with other species. They think by eliminating all contaminants they will save themselves. This new information changed everything. Hana immediately called Doyen and Miju to share what Valine had discovered. If the Void Razors are dying from a disease, maybe we can help them, Miju suggested. That's what doctors do, right? We heal everyone, even our enemies. Doyan wasn't convinced. They've destroyed countless worlds, killed billions of people, and they're still hunting us. Because they're afraid, Hana said. Fear makes people do terrible things. Before they could discuss it further, Commander Taiho contacted them from the Hope Undying. Captain, we've detected a Void Razor scout ship entering the system. It's following our trail. Doyan's heart sank. They had hoped to have more time to recover and plan. How long do we have? Hours, maybe less, Taiho replied. We're preparing to move deeper into the asteroid field. It will be dangerous, but it might hide us. But Miju had a different idea. What if we don't run this time? What if we try to talk to them instead? Everyone stared at her in shock. Talk to them? Jin asked incredulously. They burned my home. They would have killed us all without a second thought. Because they think they have no choice, Miju insisted. But what if we could show them another way? It was a crazy idea, but something about it resonated with Doyan. As a doctor, his first instinct was always to heal, not harm. How would we even communicate with them? Doyan asked. We know almost nothing about their language or culture. Actually, that's not entirely true, Thrix clicked, joining the conversation. During my time on New Harmony, I studied some of their communication patterns. Their language is complex but has mathematical structure. And I have observed their behavior patterns, Valine added. There are individuals among them who question their methods. Not all Void Razors agree with the destruction. A plan began to form. They would send a message to the approaching scout ship, not in human language but in mathematical symbols that the Void Razors might understand. They would offer something no one had offered the Void Razors before: healing. Using Thrix's knowledge and Valine's observations, they crafted a message. Miju added medical data showing how her regeneration technology might be adapted to Void Razor biology. It was a risk, giving their enemies information about their medical capabilities, but it was also their best hope. They sent the message and waited. Hours passed, with no response. The Void Razor ship continued to approach, moving cautiously through the asteroid field. It's not working, Jin said finally. We should prepare to run. But just as they were about to give up hope, a response came. It wasn't in words, but in a series of mathematical symbols similar to what they had sent. They're asking for proof, Thrix translated. They want to see our medical technology in action. It could be a trap, Taiho warned. Or it could be our only chance, Doyan countered. They decided to take the risk. Using the cargo ship's short-range transport pod, Doyun, Miju, and Hana would meet with the Void Razors at a neutral location, a large, flat asteroid in the middle of the field. They would bring medical equipment but no weapons. As the transport pod landed on the asteroid surface, they saw a similar vehicle approach from the Void Razor scout ship. 3 Void Razors emerged, their tall, insect-like forms moving with cautious grace. One was marked with the same symbols they had seen on New Harmony. A leader or scientist, perhaps. Remember, Doyan said quietly to his team, we are doctors first. Our job is to heal, not judge. The Void Razors approached until they stood just 10 meters away. The leader stepped forward and made a series of clicking sounds. It asks why we would help them after what they have done, Thrix translated through their communication device. Because that's what human doctors do, Doyan replied simply. We heal everyone who needs healing, even those who have harmed us. When this was translated, the Void Razors seemed to confer among themselves. Then the leader stepped forward again and did something unexpected. It extended one of its many limbs and revealed a deep, infected wound that glowed with an unnatural light. The degenerative condition, Miju whispered. It's spreading through their exoskeletons. Moving slowly so as not to alarm them, Miju approached the Void Razor. She took out her medical scanner and examined the wound. I can help with this, she said, looking directly at the Void Razor's compound eyes. Will you let me? After a moment of hesitation, the Void Razor lowered its limb in a gesture of acceptance. Miju applied a small amount of her regeneration nanites to the wound. The effect was immediate. The unnatural glow faded and the hard edges of the exoskeleton began to heal. The Void Razor stared at its healing limb, then made a sound that needed no translation, a sound of wonder. In that moment, a tiny bridge was built between species that had only known each other through destruction. It wasn't forgiveness, too much had been lost for that, but it was a beginning. Over the following days, more Void Razors came, first just a few, then dozens. Not all of them wanted help. Many still believed in their mission of purification. But enough came to make a difference. Doyun, Miju, and Hana worked tirelessly, adapting their medical techniques to Void Razor biology. They discovered that the degenerative condition was actually caused by lack of biological diversity. The Void Razor's obsession with purity had made them vulnerable to a disease that fed on genetic similarity. The solution came from an unexpected source. Valine, studying the data, realized that the diverse immune systems of the refugee species, when combined, created a treatment that could stop the Void Razor condition. The very diversity they feared will save them. Valine's crystal voice resonated with satisfaction. Word spread among the Void Razors. A division formed between those who accepted the human treatment and those who clung to their old beliefs. The hunting slowed, then stopped altogether in some regions of space. 6 months after their escape from New Harmony, the survivors gathered on a new world, a planet offered by a grateful group of healed Void Razors. Here they would build not just a colony, but a healing center for all species. "We have a long way to go," Doyen said, looking out at the untouched landscape. "Many Void Razors still believe in their mission of destruction. Many worlds are still burning, but we've made a start," Miju replied, standing beside him. "And that's what healing is all about, one step at a time." Hana joined them, along with Thrix, Jin, Valine, and others from a dozen different worlds. Their enemies burned worlds, Hana said softly. But human medics gave them all a reason to live again, even the enemies themselves. As the sun set on this new world, Doyun looked at the diverse group of beings working side by side. Enemies had become allies. Victims had become healers. And in the stars above, for the first time in generations, fewer worlds burned tonight than yesterday.